Hello, my name is Rebecca Grace, and today we are going to be looking at a Rebecca Grace Designs before-after image slider plugin to your Squarespace website. So you should have ready to go before we get started a zip file that you have purchased from one of my plugins. So above this video there's a link to where you can find all of my plugins, so make sure you purchase one of those and it will come in a zip file. So you'll want to have that somewhere on your computer that you can remember where to find it, because you'll have to find it to use within the steps. Okay. You'll also want your before and after images that you're going to be using on the slider. Okay. Do not name these before and after. Use some of your search engine optimization keywords. So what that means is if somebody was to Google your site or your business, what words would they use? Those are your special keywords, and you want to use them throughout your site as much as possible. One of the places you can do that is in the names of your images. Name this something that matches what the content of the image is. Throw in some of your keywords, but make sure that it makes sense within the phrase. So don't just have a list of keywords. Google will see through that. Okay, so name them something authentic, and then you'll also want to check their size. So if you have a Mac, Tools, Adjust Size, you'll see here I have them 1500 by 1000, and they are under 500 kilobytes. If they're more than that, then that's when it will start affecting your page load times and your search engine optimization. So 1, make sure your images are named something with keywords. 2, make sure they're not too big. If they are bigger than this, I would suggest changing your height and width here. And if that's still too big, make sure it is a JPEG, not a PNG or other type of file. And then you can use websites that will actually compress this file to smaller, but make sure that you get it below 500. Okay? So now that we have our zip file and our before and after images, we're going to open the zip file. Okay? And you should have 5 different files inside. These 3, the README, this jQuery file, and the event move file, are the same for all of my before after image sliders. These 2 will be different. So the one that says .css and the one that says, Rebecca Grace move or animate or whatever .js. Okay, so we'll want to open the README file. In here you will find some things to help you do this. So I've already done step 1 and 2 here. First being that we downloaded the files and unzipped the folders, and you are watching the video tutorial right now, so that's good. I have some tips listed in here, and I've also included a link to my other plugins if you want to take a look at some of the other plugins that I have available, and also my email. So if you are struggling with doing this, please contact me. I am here to help. So you can email me at rebecca@rebeccagracedesigns.com. Okay. Okay, so let's take a look at how to actually upload these to our site. So below the video that you're watching right now, I have our steps here. We've done the download part. We're now going to upload those files to your Squarespace website. So go to your website and click on the page that you want to have the sliders on. We're going to click Edit. Okay. Then we're going to click on this spot here, and we're going to add a stacked image gallery. So not an image layout, the gallery, stacked image gallery. Okay. We're going to upload our images. So we have our before and after image that we're going to upload. Go to Design, Make sure it's on stacked, and I usually take out the title and description, so there's nothing clicked there. Okay, apply. So right now you should see just your two images stacked on top of each other. Okay, we're going to go back here, click, and insert a text box. And we want to upload those files from the zip file to our Squarespace website. But to access our media folder, we have to do a little bit of a workaround. So just type some random letters and numbers, doesn't really matter. Highlight them and click link, files, and this is our media folder. So we're going to add a file, and you want to add each of the folders, each of the files within the zip file that you purchased. So we're going to do the bob.css, jQuery Rebecca Grace Animate, or yours might be named, these two might be named something different depending on what you purchased, but make note of what they actually say because we're going to need that in the next step. And these two will be the same. So jQuery 2.1.3.min, that will be the same. And event move will be the same. Okay, we don't need to add the README file. So we have 4 files, 3 that are .js and 1 that's .css. You need to make sure you have all 4 of those added. Okay. Once you've added these 4, I want you to make note of the name of these 2. So you'll have the event move, you'll have the 2.1.3.min, but you need to take note of what the name of these 2 are. So mine is Rebecca Grace Animate and bob.css. Keep note of those 2. Okay, click add link, and then we can just delete this text box. We don't need it now. Save. So now we need to tell Squarespace to actually use those files. So we're going to go back to the home. Okay, you notice we've downloaded, we've uploaded, and now we need to actually inject some code into your Squarespace website to tell it how to use those files. So our first bit is to inject this into the header of our website. So we're going to copy this. We're going to go to Settings, Advanced, Code Injection, and we're just going to paste this in here. Okay. Make sure you paste it exactly. Don't get rid of any arrows or commas or anything like that. The only thing we're going to change is where it says name of file. We need to change that to the names of the file that were in the plugin you purchased. So if you remember, we had a jQuery 2.1.3 file, which is listed here, an event move file, which is listed here, so we don't need to touch those. We then had a jQuery Rebecca Grace Animate file. Okay, the actual file was jQuery.RebeccaGraceAnimate.js, but we're not going to add that period in here. We're just changing it to Rebecca Grace Animate. We're going to change this to Bob. So it was bob.css for the bobbing arrow image slider. These are the 2 names that we took note of. And we're going to push save. Then we need to inject this into the footer. So again, copy, go down to footer, and this tells it to load these files when we use a stacked gallery block. So we don't need to actually touch anything here, we just click save. Go back. So you'll notice we now have an image slider. This one has a bobbing arrow. So notice when I hover over top, the arrow bobs up and down. Okay, the handle starts in the center. It is horizontally stacked. Okay, so they're beside each other, not on top of each other. And you have this overlay that pops up that says before and after. You'll notice that my images are on the wrong side. That's okay, that's easy to fix. We're going to click Edit, We're going to edit our gallery, and then you just change the order. Just drag and drop them, click apply, save, and you'll usually have to refresh. Okay, and now they are on the right side. Okay. So step 4 is optional, and this is to customize your slider. So if you feel that there's some things about it that you want to change, I've provided some custom CSS here to help you really alter this slider to meet your needs. So if you do not want that overlay, the before-after words that pop up and kind of darken the image, you're going to copy this, go back to the home page, Design, Custom CSS, and just paste the code in there, and you'll notice that it does not pop up anymore. You can still move the slider about, but the overlay doesn't pop up anymore. Okay, so that's how you get rid of the overlay. Click Save, and you're done. Okay. The other customization option is to change the orientation. So instead of having the images stacked side by side, maybe you want them on top of each other and you want the handle to be horizontally across the page. That's what this code is for. So you're going to copy this. And we're actually going to go back to Settings, Advanced, Code Injection, and replace what we originally had in the footer. So get rid of that and paste the new code in its place. So it just adds this orientation vertical part to it. Save. And you'll notice that they're now stacked on top of each other with the handle horizontally across, and it still bobs up and down. It still has the before-after labels and overlay if you choose to have that on there. You may also want the handle to start at a different location. So maybe you don't want it in the middle. Maybe you want it to start at a different spot of the image. So you're going to copy this. And same idea, go to Code Injection, and you're going to replace the footer with the new code. So get rid of that, add in the new code, which adds in this offset. So this number says it's going to be 20% of the way. So you'll see here, it is 20% of the way across the image. It starts in that spot, but you can play with that number. So if I wanted to actually start over here, I'm going to change the 0.2 to maybe be, let's say 0.7, 70% of the way across. So see, now it starts over there. Okay. If you want the images to be stacked on top of each other and you want the handle to start in a different spot, you're going to use the combination code. So copy that code. Again, go to Code Injection, replace the code from the footer, and that gives you the orientation vertical and the offset, again, it's set at 20% down the page, but if you want it further, you just have to change that 0.2 to be any number less than 1. So save. And notice it is vertically stacked with it 20% of the way down to start off with when they go to use the image slider. Okay. I'm going to set it back to its original setting. Because the last customization that we have here is to actually change the handle color. So right now it is white, but we can change it to be whichever color you want with quite a bit of CSS. So this is a little bit more than what the other ones are, But you'll need to copy this entire section here. Okay. We're going to actually go back to the home, go to Design, Custom CSS, and paste the following code. Okay. Then we're going to want to go through, and wherever you see the word white, you're going to change that to the color you want this to be. I'm going to use the color red just so you can see what each section does. But instead of the word white, you can use a hex code. So it's a series of numbers and letters after a hashtag sign, or you can use an HSLA code. Whatever code you have for the color that you want, you're going to set there. I'm going to use the word red. So this first section adds an outline that's offset from the box. If you do not want this outline there, you can just delete this part of the code and it won't affect anything to just delete that. But that adds an outline. I'm then going to again change all of the words white to the word red. Okay, you do have to do all of them, even if you don't see something change, just because it's set up to match all the different browsers and all the different settings. So whether you have it from horizontal to vertical or what have you, it will work on all of them. So make sure you change them all, no matter if you see it do anything or not. I'm just going to go through and check that I got them all. Perfect. And so again, that changes this to be red instead of white and adds a little outline to it as well, maybe just to match your brand color a little bit better. Okay. So congratulations, you now have a personalized before and after image slider that really helps your images, whether they be presets or actions or whatever you're using this slider for. It really helps them stand out from just a regular, no motion image slider. Again, if you have any questions or something doesn't work as well as it should, don't hesitate to either contact me through my website or send me an email at rebecca@rebeccagracedesigns.com.